trades, okay? Ask them questions. They're going to tell you a little bit about themselves, what they do. You guys are all in majors, okay? So now's the time, okay? This is, I'm not going to do the whole, these are all the groups that we have represent, well, I think all the groups that we have represented here today.
No, not all
okay?
of them, but.
Not all? Close. A lot of the shops or areas that these women work in, or groups that have been created to help women going into trades, getting apprenticeships, learning the field, and for the Massachusetts Girls in Trades. How many people went to that this year? A couple people? Okay. All right. So we're just going to jump right in and let you guys start talking this round, okay? So if we can start down there. You want to just introduce yourself? Yeah, you can. Okay. What you do, why you do it, why you love it.
My name is Tony Haydenberry. I am a bricklayer / waterproofer. I do love it. I've been in 13 years. What else? What else do you guys want to know? Anything? That's it?
A lot of us.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Shamia Turner. I am a sheet metal worker. I've been a sheet metal worker for about 12 years. I don't work with my tools anymore. I actually represent other sheet metal workers to make sure they're getting treated well on the job and getting paid well, all that good stuff. And I've met a couple of you. I met Blue Ray before and some other people in my travels. I gave my business card to the metal fab instructor, so if any of you all are interested, please get in touch with me. Even if you're not ready to apply yet, I like to, keep a relationship going to make sure that you guys are feeling good about your choice and what you want to do in the future.
My name is Alex. I am an organizer with District Council 35. We represent painters, tapers, and glazers, as well as industrial painters. I myself am a commercial painter by trade. I'm an organizer now. I've been in for, July will be 9 years for me. And I did go through the apprenticeship program. I always say that it's the second best thing I ever did was joining the union. And the first thing was marrying my husband.
Yeah, be done.
I got nothing. No, my name is Hugh Wen. I'm a 10-year carpenter journeyman person. I love what I do. I'm a concrete carpenter, so it's not precision, it's just muscle.
Is that it?
Oh, and I'm really cool.
That's what we call her. We call her Hugh the Muscle.
Yes. My name is Savi Francis. I'm an 11-year member of the Pipe Fitters Local 537, based out of Boston. We do HVAC. We keep the world cool.
But not as cool as me.
Sorry, guys.
I'm Janaea Nelson. I'm a laborer out of Labor's Local 223. And I've been in, even though you guys won't believe this, I've been in 26 years. And we're also, if any of you guys went to Mass Girls and Trades, we're the founders of Butts. I love Butts. Boston Trades is good. I don't know why you guys don't have the sticker on the back of your phones. That suck.
Can you just explain what that is a little bit?
Oh, Butts is Boston Union Trade Sisters. That's what it stands for. And it's a Facebook group that we started during COVID that was like a network group, so that if you get into the trade, you're able to go on the page and connect with other women on the job, what it's like, what do I wear, where do I park, what's the bathroom code, like, we throw events, we're having a gala soon, so we don't have to be looking all dirty and everything, we can just dress up and look like princesses for the day.
Queens.
I'm a princess, I'm young, but yeah. So, yeah, that's what Boston Union Trade Sisters is. We have cookouts, we do blood drives, we do all kinds of things. A lot of fun
We
things.
partner with DCF at Christmas time for their toy drive also.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just we're a networking group for the sisters that are
In the Boston building.
in the Boston area that work, and then we have, we have allied brothers back there that support us, and we throw big parties, yeah.
Hi guys, my name's Tiffany Lee. I'm a project engineer at Lee Kennedy Company, which is a general contractor or construction manager, and also a 2019 QHS alumni. And I actually also work with Janaea.
Good
That
morning,
makes her cool.
everyone. Good morning. I remember I used to think 10 a.m. was early until I got into the union and started waking up at 3:30. I'm Juliana Lahome. I work for Plumbers and Gas Fitters Local 12. There are two aspects to it. There's residential, which is, you can think of like your home, and there's commercial. You can think of like hospitals, industrial job sites. I work on the commercial side. I'm at the Boston Children's Hospital right now, and yeah,
Making good money.
making good money.
It's a shitty job. Somebody gotta do it.
Someone's got to,
Pun intended.
but they keep the world clean.
My name is Kathleen Rowell. I am founder, CEO of American Moving Installation. So we're a company that is actually signatory with the union. So I'm the only woman-owned in the state of Massachusetts, and competing in a male-dominated industry with a third-generation owned company. That was my competition. They said I would never make it, and we're celebrating 15 years. So I am not actually in the labor force, but I have created a great, diverse labor force. We run projects. We've done the big ones as the Encore Casino. We do all corporate relocations, so all the Boston offices, Cambridge, Life Science Division, hotel hospitality. I have all the union harmony. I'll bring in the laborers, the painters, the carpenters, my own, which is the Teamsters. But there was many that said I couldn't do it. So if you're thinking college or getting into a trade or even just starting your own business, you can do whatever you want. And I have no background, but I'm successful, and I'm putting a lot of people to work, which they're successful as well. So that's it.
Hi, my name is Maria Zamidi. I'm in Local 12, which is the Plumbers and Gas Fitters Union. I'm in my 4th year going into it. I'm on the commercial side, and I love what I do every day.
I'm Jessica Whitcomb. I work for Ford Motor Corp. Done lots of different jobs in the auto industry. Currently, right now, I'm the business development specialist for the Eastern Market area. The only woman in that role. There's 4 other men in that role across the country. So yeah, whatever you all want to do, you can do. Everything that is fixed ops, which is everything on the back end, answers up to the man I work for. So it all kind of goes through. And I want his job. I've told him that.
and today's her birthday. So.
I'm supposed to be Friday, but instead I'm here with all of you because you all matter to all of us. That's why we're all here.
Does anybody have questions off the bat? Yeah.
So you said that you work in concrete. So you started in carpentry and you went to concrete, or
No, so the carpenters there's a big umbrella. So under the carpenters union, we have drywall, we have concrete, we have wood framers. Those are and the floor layers. So you kind of fall into one of the categories. So I started off in drywall, and now I do concrete. So we do. That's my area of knowledge.
She doesn't actually do the concrete. She builds the forms.
I build the forms.
Oh, okay.
I build them
Yeah.
to pour the concrete in.
So that the
And I pour the
concrete
concrete.
stays still.
Yeah, because something has to hold the concrete in order when they pour. So I build those, the columns in the garages and stuff when you're driving. Those columns, I built those.
So did any of you start off in a different trade and then go into a different one, or did you guys just figure out what you were doing right off the bat and stayed there?
I can speak to that. So when I first got in construction, it was right after high school, and I didn't I got into a college, but I did not want to go to college, so I took a year off and I became an AmeriCorps volunteer and I worked for Habitat for Humanity. So I actually started off as a carpenter, doing more carpentry work, building the houses. And then later on in life, after I did a little bit of college and then like worked in restaurants and things like that, I became a sheet metal worker when I was 26. Now my path to that was I did a pre-apprenticeship program called Building Pathways, which introduced me to all the different trades that there are, and there's about 20 different trades, and some you know, and some you've never heard of, and I've never heard of what a sheet metal worker was. I didn't know what it was until I did that program. But I went to college for architecture for a small amount of time, and some of the stuff that we did in architecture school transferred really well to sheet metal work, so that's why I became a sheet metal worker.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just to elaborate on that, so Shamia graduated from Building Pathways, as did Savi. I don't know if anybody else here on the panel did. But the pre-apprenticeship program is really good because, like she said, you get to knick-knack at a little bit of everything. So you get to go to the plumber's school, you get to go to the sheet metal workers school, you get to go to labor school, so you get to go visit all of them, so and kind of get a better idea.
Manny also graduated from Building
Oh yeah,
Pathways.
Manny graduated from Building Pathways.
And did you?
I graduated, so the program that I went in was the year before Building Pathways was a thing.
Women in the
So
building trade.
it was it was called Brick Wanto at the time. It didn't have anything to do with brick, it was just the abbreviation was brick. And, so I did the same thing. Went around, found out what schools and the different trades, and somehow I picked brick. I don't know how, but I ended up getting.
Actually, the laborers picked me. I did pick carpenters originally, and then I was kind of up in the air about a few things, and then, yeah, the laborers picked me.
How many of you are juniors? So you all get to do co-ops, right? Here, the seniors in here, you all do co-ops? No? Well, there's this cool thing called co-ops, and you all should have access to it through your guidance or through your teachers. They're gonna have those contacts with people like us and other industry partners where we actually encourage the high schools to talk to all of you about it. So you come out and you job shadow. And you spend a couple days, or maybe you spend a whole semester, or whatever it is you're looking for that you can work out with the school, that's where you can job shadow, right? So if you're like, I want to learn about 5 different aspects of construction, go and work with your teacher. They'll put you in touch with people like us or other people where you'll actually get to go and spend a day in the life. For auto, that's built into it. Anyone that wants auto, I can get you anywhere you want to go. One of the great things to do is to do the full job shadow. Do everything from the office to the floors to the going out in the field. Really see where it is you want to go. That's going to help you kind of figure out your next pathway. Yeah?
So we're actually currently in automotive technologies right now. We currently work for Quirk Chevy, so this is kind of coming from all 3 of us. So we are employed as of right now, but would that get in the way of us working under any of you? This goes for anyone.
Could you transfer?
So no matter who you work for, and I know Mr. Ford, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you went, do you know Mr. Smith at Quirk Ford? Okay.
They want to work with you is what they're saying.
Oh, you want to work with me? Oh, yeah. So I would say, yeah, like if y'all want to come and spend a day with me or have me come in, just ask Jimmy to call me, right?
Talk to Jimmy.
Do you know Josh McDonald?
She thinks you can talk to Jimmy.
You want me to talk to him? I'll do that. I'll give him a call. No problem.
that scary?
He's like a real high. He's a big old teddy bear. But basically, no matter where y'all are working, I'll get your all names before I leave. Whatever it is y'all want to do, keep in mind too that your employer, they have contacts, right? I mean, Mr. Quirk was a pipe fitter. That's how he made his money. Right? I mean, it all comes back to the trades, but absolutely. Absolutely, good on you, yeah, I'll hook you up, girlfriend. And I think that's important, right? Like, you've got hustle, like, I applaud that, that's what we need more of, is, you all want something, raise your hand, like, that's how you get anything, right? But do your co-ops.
I just want to say, don't apologize for asking questions.
Yeah.
Right,
I see know what you wanted, I was like, oh, you want, okay, I got you.
And just her saying that he was a pipe fitter, that's something that I learned like right away in the trades. My business agent, I don't know if he was supposed to say that to me, but he was just telling me to keep my hustle, and he told me, because my trade can be seasonal, that it was like the best part-time job I'd ever had. So I applied that to whatever else I want to do. I have dreams that are outside of being in the trade, so I use my work money to fund anything else that I'm trying to do. You know, you can still pursue your goals in career and, you know, do different things. I am a wedding planner / party planner, and I mentor girls from 13 to 24. That's a nonprofit. They're working on their way to be a nonprofit. There's so many things, and I'm a mom. So there's so many things that you can do. You know, women, we already have that hustle and bustle. As you get older, you'll learn that you have to like spread that hustle and bustle through to make it work.
And half the game is people you know and not what you know. So, you know, if Ronald's not helping you out and you got to go two people above Ronald to get what you need, then you know, there's no shame in your game, because we're all trying to support each other, but at the same time we're all trying to be the best, you know, carpenter, pipe fitter, labor, like we're all here for each other. So if Sabi doesn't have the answer that I need from her, I'm going to go to Janaea. If Janaea doesn't have it, I'm going to Jessica. So you just keep moving up the line. Don't be apologetic for wanting to be successful, because that's all we want. We want to be the best at our game. So you should do that too.
On like pipe fitting, how did you decide that you wanted to do like the HVAC side of it?
So I went through Building Pathways back in 2012. Sorry, I couldn't even think. 2012, and it brought us the program brought us to different places, different locals, halls, and everything. And I said, you know what, this is where I want my career path. And then I knew that there was a refrigeration side, and there was the pipe fitter side. And I know I wanted to be on the pipe fitter side because it was more interactive with people. Refrigeration, when they said you can get a call out of your sleep to service, like Stop and Shop, I was like, oh no. Sorry. Then, and it was
break.
So when I got my acceptance letter, I was confused because it said refrigeration, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't sign up for this. I signed up for the pipe fitter side, and then they had me do the orientation through the refrigeration side, and then they sent me out to my first job site where I actually met Tony at Old Colony in South Boston with the pipe fitters. Yes. Then
A long time ago.
I saw the training coordinator. I said, Timmy, I'm on the pipe fitter side, but you guys put me on refrigeration. I'm confused. He goes, oh, we thought you'd have more fun on the pipe fitter side, which I actually wanted. So I love it. We go to school. I know now first, second, and third years go during the day. At that time, I was going at nights. And that part did kind of stink, but I enjoy being able to be around other trades as well, to learn what they're doing and networking, so that way when I have an issue at the house, I can actually ask them to come help fix it. But yeah, the pipe fitter side, I was just like, I want to do this. It wasn't the welding that got me, because I'm scared of fire. Unlike Tiffany. I was scared of fire. I was scared of looking at when they're doing the flashes, but I like the copper side of it, doing the Victaulic side, learning how the cooling tower and the air handler units work.
Don't try to sound smart.
You're just mad. But yeah, no, it's fun. Like the refrigeration side, they're the ones that started up. So once we're done building it, they can troubleshoot it. But the pipe fitter side is more fun.
Yeah.
And just so you know, like the stuff that you're learning in the shop right now is so important, in the certifications that you receive can actually really come in handy in the future, because my welding certs that I got here is literally how I got my first co-op, and from that first co-op, that's how I got my offer letter from Lee Kennedy and from other GCs as well. And it's just like a whole chain reaction of how things happen. And that's how I really found out that, wow, this is like what I really love. It's from trying new things, and it's from the welding class. And now I've really built a career for it. And it's just from trying new things.
And get Tiffany's card, because that Lee Kennedy does sporadically take co-ops also from high school. There's been a couple of people that actually went through the co-op and before they were even finished, and then by the time they turned 18 and graduated, got right in. There's one guy who's a carpenter foreman now, so get her phone number.
And the important part about co-op, especially in high school, here we'll talk about Mr. Quirk. If you are working for these dealers, right, while you're in high school, so you're a senior, you're going out on co-op, you're going there every day, you show that this is what you want to do, and you show that you're a really good employee. I can tell you that next year, Mr. Quirk is sending 2 students off to the Ford Asset Program. He's paying for it. He's paying for their education. They're going to come out of school completely certified as a master tech with no college debt. Now, there's always going to be a price you got to pay for that, right? You're going to sign a little contract. You're going to have to stay working for him for so long. But that education is yours. So no matter what field you go in, when you're doing co-op, make sure you're interviewing them as much as we're interviewing you. What benefits are they going to offer you, right? I can tell you with Ford, once you get hired, you have to have a 4-year degree to get hired, but they'll pay for you to go on and get the rest of your education once you've been with them for so long. A lot of the trades are going to pay to send all of you off to school because it's going to earn you your credentials a lot faster than if they have to do it. To become a master tech takes 10 years roughly, and about $50,000 to $60,000 on the dealer. To send you off to college is going to take 2 years, cost the dealer about $30,000. I can show them that that's a churn. An investment in you is investing in their business, right? So make sure when you have these opportunities, you're asking those questions, no matter which field you want to go into, whether you want to go to work and become a PM, or want to do fitting, or you want to go to work for corporate America. Make sure you're asking, hey, how are you going to offset my cost of education? What do I have to do to do that? Everyone does something different.
And as far as me being a mom and a CEO founder of a company, my kids, 2 girls graduated from North Quincy High School, and they went off to college, UMass Boston and Suffolk. One's a nurse and the other one majored in business development with accounting. She's actually in the office, but they all joined the union while they were in high school, the local 25. My son went to North, went to Catholic Memorial, and then he went to Mass Maritime, hated school, hated college, sucked at math. Like, he's like, Mom, I can't do this, I hate it. He ended up enrolling in the Marine Corps, and then now he's a Boston police officer. But they're still in the union. So they're going to be so well off, you know, in their 40s, running 2 pensions. So, you know, my daughter works 3 12 shifts, and then on the weekend she'll work for me. So they're active in the union, but they also got a taste of another career. You're doing, you know, the wedding planning. You can never not have enough money or have your hands in multiple things. So in the beauty of that, you're not, you know, you're younger, but you got to think of retirement. I mean, I'm starting later, but my life was different. Growing up in the Boston public school system, we didn't have opportunities like this. We did I did go to Madison Park and the Humphrey Center, and what I would do is go to the trades because I love that, you know, hands-on visual learner. I was in, you know, the carpentry and sheet metal, but then I'd hop on the bus and hook school and go home. So I was supposed to go back to like my other school at Umana in East Boston. I took the Southie High bus, and I just hated school. But here I am, you know, so successful. I'm so happy my kids did well, but they got, you know, their passion to be a nurse or to run a business or to be, you know, serving the country. And a police officer, you can be a fireman, but you have a shorter schedule. And trades could be a full-time, but in my trade where I put the workforce to work, I have a seniority list, I have spares, I have about 60 workers, but some days on weeks I don't have 24 people working a day. I may only have 10. So those other people on that list have to sort of navigate to another company or have another career. But you can never not have your hands in multiple things. Don't just think, all right, this is what I want to be and that's going to be it for the rest of it. Throw some diversity in there and, you know, spice it up. The more money you make, you can retire in your 40s and you're going to have a savings and annuity, a pension plan, hopefully another pension from another career, and you're going to be living life in your 50s, you know, retirement, collecting all pensions. No one taught me
Just to
this.
follow off of her, just like we all love our jobs, we all love getting up, but it's not every day. It's not all rainbows and unicorn farts. We're out here advocating for our sisters and for our male allies. So whatever you put into it and whatever you want to fight for, there are people that will back you. But you've got to want what we have. Nobody's just gonna say, "Oh, here's a silver platter." So what she said, if you want
be a
it,
digger.
if you want it,
You
then
don't
you
want to be
gotta
a farmer and just seeding and watering.
Right.
But yeah.
Because
You
you're
keep an eye
our
on the
future.
prize and-
We're doing what we're doing so that you guys can come and be us 10 years from now.
Okay, this woman over here is holding up her hand for a minute. Yes.
Have any of you guys ever had like either a boss or a contractor assume that you guys weren't as capable as a man, just as
All day
Yeah.
long.
I presume, yeah.
Every
Just
day.
like what do you guys like feel about that? Do you have any like kind
I
of ways
outshine
to
them.
prove them wrong?
I'll show you.
Yeah.
Girls, they think girls don't have a competitive side. I think I don't want to be treated badly, but if you do, I am going to go crazy hard that you're never gonna forget me after that.
Yeah.
So,
I was in a meeting once in auto, and I was the only woman, right, in a lot of the stuff that I did, and I still do. And I always wear heels and whatever, and I remember he sat on my board of directors, and he said to me, "You can't walk into auto class dressed like that. Why? It's not okay." And I was like, "Oh, if that made you uncomfortable, you stand by." And at the next board meeting, the heels were 6-inch stilettos. I looked like the girl from Grease. I wore tight black leather pants, a shirt, like it was all there. And I sat there and smiled. And I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't, when my mom was doing this, she had to cut her hair, she had to wear a man suit, she had to play the game. And she was the first woman for a lot of stuff in auto, right? And I just remember rolling my eyes, right? And my daughter, who's 22, I come home, especially that day, she's like, "You cannot go to the office dressed like that." I'm like, "Yes, I can, because the great thing about what we're doing, what you all are doing, you don't have to cut your hair, you don't have to wear the man suit, but you gotta prove them wrong." So be your fabulous, dynamic, wonderful self, but you better have work ethic. You better bring it to the table, and you better own your nonsense when it is nonsense.
Yeah.
And yesterday I had the worst day. Horrible day, right? Just awful. I don't have anything ready yesterday. Today's going pretty good. But like, not every day is gonna be fantastic. But just dig yourself back up. But every day they're gonna underestimate you, and every day you prove them wrong.
before we get to the next question too, in the trades, right, you go from job to job sometimes. So you can be working with I won't say the word, as
Jerk.
nice guy.
Jerk.
Yes, yeah, all of that. You'll work with guys that are like that, foremen who are like that. But then next week you're on a job site with people you've never seen before. So honestly, sometimes I worked with Savi, and then next time I don't see her again for another 5-10 job sites. So
I would say you have to keep your eye on the future, on what you want to do. A lot of people's opinions really don't matter. So your work matters. What that person thinks of what you're capable of doesn't matter. And oftentimes when you meet a jerk on the job site, it's not personal. You're not the only person who thinks that that person's a jerk. They just it's usually a personal problem. Yeah. And so you do have the right to speak up for yourself, but you have to keep perspective as to whether or not what they're saying matters. Like, obviously, if it's coming down to bullying and hazing and harassment, that's a whole different story. You need to advocate for yourself and speak to the appropriate people to get that problem fixed. But if it's just a matter of this person underestimating you, like I work on a job site, I was working with another male apprentice, and the journey person I was working under would only call on that male apprentice, "Matt, go do this, Matt, go do that." And I was just like, "Matt, stay here, I'm gonna go do that." You know what I mean? So I had to figure out a way to make myself stand out. But at the end of the day, that journey person's opinion didn't matter. and what I did matter, and I was able to get opportunities off of that.
So I remember my first year going to my second year, I was partnered up with the journeyman that everybody had nightmare horror stories. And I ended up working with him. He ended up being like the biggest teddy bear. And the first thing he said to me when he found out he was being partnered up to me was like, listen, I know you're a woman. They're gonna look at you different. If I ask you to do something, go pick up something, don't come back to me and say I can't. Tell me I need help and I will come help you. And that's what I did. Like, 'cause I can't pick up a piece of 5-inch, 10-foot pipe by myself. So he would show me the ropes the easy way.
What they have wheels for.
Sorry, you notice you're all very passionate about that.
This is probably like the first time I've heard, like, you know, heard someone who's actually been in the automotive industry who's won, because the last one we went to, I did not even find anyone who's like I guess not strictly like just automotive, since I'm also like working in automotive technology with them. I don't work with them at Quirk Chevy, but I still like do take auto. And how you said that you could almost like basically kind of wore basically, in your words, basically whatever the hell you want. And looked amazing, I can already tell, just imagine the heels. It's obvious like what I'm wearing now. I'm obviously like normally dressed casual, mostly masculine, but it's still kind of almost like, just hearing that you basically wore heels like that in the other shops. in the shops is just, how did you feel? I'm just like, how did you feel when you did that?
So I would say that however you feel best about yourself is how you want to turn up, right? So for me, I like me my shoes. Okay, I like me my shoes and my bags. So I know that if I'm going to need confidence, I'm wearing me my shoes. I'm gonna wear that. It's like me putting on my war paint, right? Like everyone has their own thing that they do to show up. But if we're talking about tech, so Jack Madden Ford, okay, here's a cool moment that happened. There is this beautiful woman, young girl, who's a senior in high school, right? And I walk by and I see all these guys around her and she's got stuff up, and this young 17-year-old is pulling out diesel engines and these men are helping her. And that young woman is dressed in work boots, pants, and a sweatshirt. She got the biggest smile on her face, and I went, you are just beautiful. She was like, I feel so good today. So my point is, whatever's gonna make you feel that good, right? Know that that's just gonna, everyone then is just gonna be sucked in on you. So, but yeah, but don't let it shop. Like the shops should support you, and a lot of them do, and a lot of them all want. And if you're in a shop that doesn't, then you can let me know and I'll move you to one that does, okay?
And I would like to add something to that. So one mistake that I see a lot of young ladies make when they get into male-dominated fields is trying to assume the attitude of what they think a man is like the bravado. And each of you have your own style, each of you have your own style of leadership, your own style of assertiveness. Don't let anybody talk you out of that. Like my big thing on jobs, I'm pretty polite. Like when I need to I run crews and stuff like that. When I need to go talk to the other trades, I say what I need to say, and usually it's like a please and thank you. And I've had people be like, oh, it's a job site, you don't have to say all that. That's just me. And I had to explain that. I'm like, this is how I communicate, this is the best way I can get things done. And more often than not, people appreciate that because they know it's coming from an authentic place. But when there are young ladies who are on the job who are trying to be like the men, if it's not really authentic to them, that's when the focus goes someplace else and they're not doing the job to the best of their ability. So I just want to say watch out for that as well.
I absolutely agree with her. I just noticed that the turnout of the reaction of the field people is just way better when you just speak with a lot more kindness and don't just come off as somebody who's like super macho and just demanding. At the end of the day, everybody's a person and everybody deserves respect.
You'll get it. You have to earn respect. Nothing's going to be given to you. And treat people how you want to be treated. If you want your boss to respect you, show up 10 minutes early. I mean, I can tell you McGovern Ford, I don't know if you've all heard of McGovern, their workday starts at 7:30. That means you start at 7:30. Doesn't mean you show up at 7:30. That doesn't mean you're thinking about putting on your uniform at 7:30. Because at 7:30, you're at your bay and you're working. And the biggest mistake that a lot of young people make is they think that means work starts at 7:30. That service manager, she'll just fire you. I don't need you. You don't want to be here? That's fine. You can go now. I applaud that. Because I think that's really the only way we're gonna set expectations, right? So like you said, you hated getting up at 10, now you get up at 3:30, right? Like, that's honest, but if it's what you like to do, then there's gonna always be a grind factor to it. If you love it, the grind will be all right. If you hate it and you drudge it, go find a new grind, right? Yeah?
Kind of picking off of where so working in a male-dominant industry at this age, and I've noticed that I tend to mellow my personality out when I go to work. So whatever they tell me to do, I get it done. That's it. And you continue about your day. And I just want to know, how do you deal with disrespect or
No.
it's like
We don't deal with disrespect.
I mellow out my personality because that's just like what I'm used to. I'm polite, you do what you're told, and that's it. Like, and you clock out, you leave. But I have spunk. Like, I need to watch what I say because something might go off wrong because it's a consistent thing.
So I think you have to be your authentic self when you go to work, but you also, like, there's a structure of command. Like, you know, like when you, first off, you will never talk to me like that. I promise you that. I'll give you one time, and then we're gonna have a conversation. I don't talk to you like that. You don't talk to me like that. You belong. But like, you can't have, you have to be your authentic self. Like, you have to work with these people, like Tony said, like, it might be this job, and three jobs down the road, I might be back with her, and I'm like, damn. But you gotta work with her. So be your authentic self, advocate for yourself, but be respectful about it.
Yeah.
You have to, like, my light shines every day when I go to work. Like, everybody knows Q's at work. Like, they're missing me today. They're like, where to see it's gray out and my sunshine is not there. But I won't disrespect you if you don't disrespect me.
Because that's the thing, like, I will never disrespect, because that's not how my mother raised me. I will never disrespect someone, but simply trying to have a conversation with someone who assumes that they're higher up than you, but technically I can do everything that you do on the floor. I just choose not to because I don't get paid to do that, so I'm doing my job. But it's just like having a conversation with someone, and simply the fact that, yes, I'm younger than you, but I perform just as well as you do. So anything that I say comes off as disrespect, so I just choose to not say.
Sometimes you can't say, you gotta show.
Yeah. So honestly, I was exactly like you, and then like actually though, like I come off really strong, and it's been an issue sometimes. But at the end of the day, you have to realize, like, sometimes you don't mean it, and sometimes other people don't mean it, and sometimes they do mean it. And when they do mean it, that's when you have to just pull them aside and just have a conversation with them and be like, I don't appreciate that. You know, and sometimes it, you know, just blows ahead and you're like,
that's never like, I'm
you
just
know,
not
which is
that
like
type of
not always the
person.
best way to handle things, but
Yeah.
you know, you do have to stand up for yourself.
I deal with it with men.
Yeah.
So I just had a staff meeting with a couple of bullies, and they're grown men, and I said, come on guys, this is like preschool.
Yeah.
But it really, you know, it roots to something different of how they were raised and how I was raised, and it sounds like we're similar. We're respectful, we're kind. You don't want to be quiet, but you don't want to start drama and be like, oh, she's a troublemaker. It's a hard thing to balance. But I know who I am as a person. The world is so different today. But it's not just women with men, it's men and men. I mean, the hardest part of my job, I love, you know, bidding a job and trying to find out, you know, I like winning a contract. But the hardest part is managing human beings. It's awful. And big grown men, the women get the shit done. You know, I'm not empowering, but you know, here's a union and a male dominant saying, oh, she's never gonna make it. I proved him wrong. Here I am 15 years later. The trucks are everywhere. It's like, how do you like me now? But I earned it. I grew up from nothing. Nothing was handed to me. I wanted it because I wanted it, and I got it. Just be kind and respectful and say congratulations, you know? I go through walkthroughs with other sales guys, they don't even hold the door open. That's all right, I just kick it open. I let the door shut in their face. But it's men, it's women, it's culture, it's hard today.
Yeah.
But, you know.
With our locals.
Don't let it eat you up, just be the person you are. And sometimes it makes their head spin.
And also remember, you don't know what's going on in their life.
Yeah, that's also.
And so that's the other good thing, like I tell my daughter, right, sometimes, and I'll say, you ever looked at them and just been like, gosh, I'm really sorry, you must be having a really bad day, is there anything I can do to help you? Because that's gonna diffuse it. You're being a little passive aggressive, so you gotta do it kinda nice, right? But like sometimes you just don't know, right? Or they think they're pushing you and they think they're challenging you because they want you to step up and do more. And that's the other thing. If you're getting paid $15 an hour and you wanna make that $18 an hour, show them you deserve that $18. You're making 20, you wanna make 30, show her you're making that. Right? If you want to make more and you can do more, then do, right? Don't say I can, I'm choosing not to. I would be like, come on, show me what you got. Because in some of these offices, in some of these buildings, they're looking to see who's moving up, who's gonna be coming. I have to believe it's that way in the unions as well. Who's going to be my leader and who is going to be my next rising star? Because they're always looking for that person. But I would just kill them with kindness. You all right? You having a really bad day?
Yeah, with the unions, most trades, we have a steward. So if somebody's being disrespectful to you, you go through your steward first. And if that's not being resolved, you go to the foreman. If that's not being resolved, then you call the hall. Yeah, that's how we usually do it. Or just give them a one-liner, but like everybody said, Jessica, and everybody said, you don't know what's going on with their personal life.
Yeah.
And with the trades, a lot of these guys, the older guys, weren't treated fairly with their journeymen when they were apprentices, so they feel like that's how they should be treating their apprentices because they were treated that way.
And it's culture too. It's culture. If you don't like the culture, go get a different job too.
Yeah.
Because you are never gonna fight that culture,
The
right?
environment's tough. It's very high pressured, and not everybody is always nice. Like everybody's
You have to
very,
have thick skin.
Yep, everybody's very straightforward. They're gonna tell you how it is, and sometimes it's not nice.
Yeah.
My mother and father were both in the trades, right? And I wasn't thinking about the trades at all. I was very mellow, very quiet, and barely swore or anything. Most people who know my mom, when they meet me, they're like, I can't believe that's your mom.
Yeah,
My mom she knows my mom. My mom is very tough, I can't even, if you gotta meet her, when you meet her, you're like, oh, that's your mother, right? So growing up, I always was more timid because I didn't feel like at the time, I didn't understand my mother's fire until I had my own kid, where I felt like she always was just off rip, right? So then when I got in the trades, my father did not want me to be in the trades at all because he felt like, he's a pipe fitter. He also felt like he knew what the trades are and how some of the men are, unfortunately, right? So if he did want me to get in the trade, he wanted me to get in the pipe fitters because he knew he could watch me, right? So as I did get in the trade, and my sister came in shortly after. My sister is also the rough and tough. What I learned over time is some of those experiences you were talking about will put that fire in you, because I didn't just start advocating for women because things were going good. I started advocating for women because there was that one guy who had me so mad I thought I could fight him outside the job. That's how mad I got. And then I just put that into something else. I started to make sure that I could speak up for myself in other ways, because you will get those people who are all the way up here. So you feel intimidated by saying something, but there is always somebody over that person. And I learned that. It took a while, but now my rough and tough sister can't be here today. I wish you could meet her. But sometimes now it's me that gotta go be the crazy advocate, because how they try to make women seem sometimes is that we're catty. And especially for black women, we have that automatic, people think that we have an attitude. And I know I don't have that. So for a while, I would just shut up because I felt like I didn't always want it to look like, oh, Tony's the complainer. But then now, I don't care. I'm complaining and I'm gonna prove the point, and I'm gonna go all the way to the president. That's it. Now I take that anywhere I go. It could be at Walmart, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna speak to the corporate person, because I know this is how these, you just have to still keep your kind attitude, because I'm kind all the time, and I think that also makes people not have that rapport with you. Whereas when that guy who called my hall and told my business agent that I swore and I threw my hard hat and I was he didn't even believe it, because I never say anything. But in the end, having that will make you have an advantage, because they won't always say that you're the one. You know what I mean? So continue to do you, but still keep your fierce personality.
And when people say that you're too much, because they usually do with women like us, oh, you're too much, or my answer is you're just not enough. Like, you are never too much. That person that says that to you, they just aren't enough. Like, switch that around. If you can start doing it took me a long time to figure that out. Most men or other people be like, oh, you're a lot. No, I'm not. Now I'm like, yeah, you're just not enough. Try to keep up, right? But it takes you a while, and you all have the benefit of all of these fabulous women up here.
It's just respect.
Yeah.
That's all it is, respect. I mean, we're all here for a short time. We're all human. We're all made the same way. But it's personalities and ego and whatever. Just pick and choose your battles. Life is too short. Follow your dreams, and sky's the limit.
And I have two real life examples. So one was I was using a man lift, right? And it turned out to be one of the carpenter's man lifts, but he was using mine, so that's why I was using his, right? So the journey person I was working with, this was when I was an apprentice, he was also with me. So the carpenter drove over to us in our man lift and was like, get off my man lift. And we're like, you're using ours. And he's like, well, I can't use my real one because it's too big or something like that. But we could use the other one. So then my journey person and the carpenter just sat there. They were having some kind of pissing contest, for lack of a better phrase, like yelling at each other about these man lifts. I just got off the lift and I went around the corner to the other lift and I just drove it around. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing my work. And my journey person saw me and he was like, oh. And then he stopped arguing with the carpenter and got off. So it's a matter of perspective, what's important. Number two, when I was an apprentice, one of the journey people said something super disrespectful to me. I can't remember what it was. I just remember it was very disrespectful. And my first instinct was to kind of shut down and just go about my day. But then something clicked about what he said and why it was not respectful and why it was also wrong. And I was able to address it in a respectful way. I was able to call him out, and he didn't expect me to do that. And once I did that, he had another respect for me because he knew that I would speak up for myself. And I've actually had this experience with a lot of the men that I've worked with, is that they'll say something slick to me and not expect me to say anything. They just expect me to crawl away in the corner. But as soon as I address it, then we have a completely different rapport. And doing it in a constructive way. I would say the key word is constructive. Because I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm trying to let you know that I'm a human being and that you should treat me as such.
There was a question in the back first, someone I think.
The Duggan, sure.
So I used to work for an HVAC company for a little while, and I'm a pretty quick learner when it comes to things. And one of my biggest issues was when someone would do something with the equipment and I knew they would be doing it wrong, but I didn't want to correct them because they've had more experience. So I kind of just let it be, and then they'd figure out their problem on their own. But I didn't know how to correct them without making it seem like I knew more than they did.
It's a safety issue. So you present it as a safety issue. It's not about more. It's about the fact that I'm trying to help you save your life. Yeah. So you might want to use that equipment right, because I don't want to get blown up too.
No, yeah.
So it's not about, it's about perspective and how you present it to people. like if you present it to people like the way I present it, be more like Shamia, don't be like you. Just saying.
This is true.
Be like all the rest of them, don't be like me. But it's like if you're nice about it, then sometimes they'll receive it a little bit better. But if you're not so nice about it, then you just, go about your day and they're mad and you're laughing, so it's about perspective.
Yeah, you can do it as like, if you see that they're doing it incorrectly, instead of like pointing the blame like that's incorrect, you can just say, hey, I have a suggestion, doing it this way.
Yeah.
That way it's not like pointing the finger.
Yeah, I feel like they like kind of invalidated it just like a little because
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like female and I was younger and they were like trying to teach me, so they were like, oh, you don't know.
Yeah.
So if you give
Called
it to them this way,
Yeah.
if you give it to them this way, like, oh, in my shop they taught me to do it this way. Why do you do it this way? So it gives them kind of for them to explain. Oh, my bad, I fucked up. So let me fix that.
But you're giving them an out. Like, because you would want an out, right?
Yeah.
So if you were doing something wrong, you wouldn't want someone to come up and point it out to you, right? You'd want, so just always remember that, right? Everyone's always going to have a different way. Like, I love that. Like, hey, in my shop, I do this. Can you explain, how come you're doing it that way? Or how do you do it? Or, just ask the question.
Yeah.
And just remember, you don't ever want to have someone treat you how you're treating someone, right? So like, right? Because it will come full circle. So do it in a way how you would want to be correct. Yeah. Right.
You had a question, right?
With like, obviously me, it could be like anyone else, everyone could have like, same thing as me. But when I'm working in the shop, I'm always working with one of my friends who obviously, male, knows way much more than me. And I feel like every time I'm just, like, if someone's like, hey, can you do an oil change for me? Can you change the oil filter too? I'm like, okay, and I'll do it. I might, slightly mess one thing up or another, but then it's like I might ask for help for someone, or like ask one of my teachers, be like, can you help me with this? Can you check this? Or if I'm putting tires back on and I'm torquing the tire, I'm like, can you make sure that this is the right torque so I don't F up the whole car?
Or kill someone.
And and it just seems like anytime I'm working with this one specific person, it always seems like I'm just that second person there. They're doing everything, and like they've told me, they're like, yeah, I want to do this when I get out of high school. And I'm like, so what are you gonna do? Like if you're in a relationship and whoever you're dating and stuff. And they're like, oh well, I'm gonna be the main breadwinner. I was like, okay, yeah, see what that happens. But whenever they would say that to me, or like whenever I'm working in the shop with them, I'm gonna be so honest, I have the shortest temper ever, and I always try to control it. But anytime they're like, I'm just trying to help, I was like, your help isn't helping.
You need a new partner.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Either a new partner or you need us to come to the site that you're at.
Throw that bat signal out, girl.
No, sometimes it is important for you to switch people, because there are some people who can't change. When I learned about men too, I think that like after a while, if I'm working with a partner that may or may not like me, right? If you give men silent treatment, they can't take it. 9 times out of 10, they'll start talking to you. That's one of my tricks. I won't say anything. They're like, oh, why are you so quiet? I'm really not quiet, but I let them talk. You'll learn that 9 times out of 10, there is something or some women or something in their life that they feel like they gotta be hella macho for, because you'll find out that they really would like the woman partnership, because we could, feed each other a lot of knowledge. And it shouldn't be a crime for them to want to teach you something. Passing the knowledge is a great thing, but a lot of guys feel like if they teach us anything, that goes for sometimes even for men to men, they don't want to teach us something because they think that we're taking from them. Whatever they think that is that we want, because we don't want it. But that might be a thing.
They're a nice person, they're a really, really nice person. And obviously, like, when I get upset, they're like, I'm just trying to help. I was like, well, your help is a bit too much.
So there are people that are really great friends, and then there are people that are really great work partners. And sometimes understanding the two, so this person can be your best friend, and it's okay for you to say to that person, listen, I really appreciate our friendship. I want to still like you when I leave this class, so I'm gonna go work over here now, right? Like, because I still want to be your friend, and that's just You're gonna find that no matter where you go.
And you have to do that because you don't want to take from your experience. You're trying to learn. And if you let that friend know, that might teach the friend a lesson on how going forward they'll be to other people.
K-Pod.
Okay, I know like after high school, like I want to go to college and I want to like play like a sport and I want to go that route. Like I also want to like stay in like my trade. So like, how would you say like I go about that? Like, do I like go
So
to
that's
college and then go
completely
out?
possible. So I went to Wentworth for school. And do you know what kind of trade like you want to do though specifically?
Like auto and then auto.
Auto. So if you went to like, I know like Benjamin Franklin has a program.
I do, right?
I don't like, I'm not really in the auto industry, but a lot of my friends went to Benjamin Franklin for this. It's completely possible. You just have to look for the school that provides it, and you can definitely do both. And don't forget to do your internships and get experience, because that's really important for when you're out of college to get a job though. But
What manufacturer do you want to work for?
Sorry.
What's that?
What did you say?
Ford, GMC, Toyota, do you know?
I don't know.
So first, in your auto, right? Are you a junior?
No, I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore, awesome. So start thinking about which branch you want to go to work for, right? And then you pick out the college that has that program, but will also put you in line with a co-op. And then you start working with that dealership, and you can start as early as next year, right? And you can work with your automotive teachers, and they can contact me. If you don't want Ford, I've got contacts, but the community colleges are who the manufacturers are partnered with. So it's everything from Mount Wachusett to Mass Bay to going up to Maine, anywhere, right? But they all usually have sports teams too. So if you do soccer, softball, volleyball, any of those colleges where you go off to get your degree, if you're gonna be fast tracked that way, you'll play on those teams. So it's all very possible. It's great, you just started the process. So start thinking what you want to do in auto, what manufacturer you want, because that's really where the money is.
You guys are lucky because you're already getting a resume started. My son's 13, I'm constantly talking to him about things to put on his resume. It's just a head start. You guys already have this, you're meeting all these people. Use all your resources. I didn't have resources like that. Take everyone's card or number if you can, and that way, even if we're in whatever trades, we all have contacts and resources. It just becomes one big networking thing. But take advantage of every single class and everything that you're allowed to do to be able to add to your resume. So now when you're going to ask for a co-op or something like that, you got a whole list of things that you've already did, and they'll be like, oh, well, I want her because she's did all these things.
It's really about who you know, right? I mean, shoot, last, 2 years ago, you tried to get your car and you couldn't get it in. I got a text, she's like, hey, I sat on a panel with you. I need to get my car in. Do you think you can help me? I'm like,
Right away.
Sure. She's like, they told me a month. I'm like, it'll be in tomorrow, right? Because that's what we all do, right? But everyone's up here. Your classmates, your teachers, always take cards because you never know.
I have to tell you something funny about the cards though. So my daughter's in the office and I said, I've been networking. Networking is how I get opportunities. And I said, oh, I know I have their card. Go check my Rolodex. She goes, what? What? And I go, my Rolodex. And she goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I go, you're kidding me. And I have 2 of them. I have like a Ferris wheel, and then I have just like a long, square. I do. I still have it. I love it. Because I got it filed all different. I have little notes in the back of the car. The old school.
No, because guess what? These things are no good after a while. Rolodex, you can still Rolodex.
I just thought it was funny. So
After a while,
it won't work. Start a Rolodex. They got a new trend. So bring it back.
adding on to that, so this is like weird, but like when I'm still a waitress, but that's actually how I got my co-op, and it was the only place I applied to. Like I was just like talking to customers, and just like, oh, like what's up for the weekend? I'm like, oh, nothing, just doing homework. I'm in college. Just like, oh, you went to Wentworth too? Like, if you ever need my card, like for a co-op, if you're interested. And it was during COVID times, and all my friends were like applying to like 10 different companies and stuff. I applied to this one, and I got it. And it was actually, like what stood out was because I was a certified welder. And that's how we got the attention.
So I actually have an interest in going into engineering. I haven't figured out
Yeah.
which type of engineering specifically, but can you talk about like your experience with getting a degree and then going into trades?
So I'm technically not an engineer. I'm a construction manager, and that's what I did at Wentworth. Engineers focus like more on the design, if you like that. But yeah, like it was just like basically the whole signing up process is the same. Like, so you said you don't know what type of engineer you want to
I was
do?
thinking about civil engineering.
Civil engineering's good, so that's construction though, you're getting into that. And I do know that a lot of civil engineers do end up transferring to construction management because they're like, oh, I want to do this again. But if you are into the design, it's like great to get into. You work with more like heavy construction, so you're doing like, you're working with more dirt and you're working with more, you know, building bridges and things like that if that's what you're into. Actually, when I first applied to Wentworth, I applied for civil engineering. And then when they had us do like a tour of the school and like we walked through everything, I was like, this is not for me. Like, I want to put a building up. And that's the type of construction that I'm more interested in. So I switched and it was the best decision ever.
And you switched to what specifically?
Construction management. Yeah, but I can still go back and.
She was in hindsight my boss, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like if I ever wanted to like go back and do like heavy construction, I could and work for a different company.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
One of my coaches also woodwork.
Yep.
I want to major in interior design.
Yep.
But I'm not really like sure what type of trades. Because when I'm in a carpentry. My dad does floors. He wants to like show me how to do floors. But I'm not sure what type of like jobs or like trade jobs I can get with interior design.
So it's kind of tough because interior design is like its own breed itself, just like architecture. Because what you're focusing on is like literally the design part of it. So what do you mean by like what trades? Like, do you want to get into carpentry? Like, do you want to get into like how hands-on do you want to be? You know what I mean? Like,
So there's like different aspects. Like
Yeah.
you can join like the wall coverers, which might not seem like a big deal, but if you ever look at some of the murals and stuff that are up there, that's part of interior design. You could get into the carpentry, which if you look at these little columns here, they wrap those with material. These little columns here that you see here. So there's different aspects. I mean, I guess it depends how deep you want to get into it.
And there's finished carpentry.
That's what I was gonna say. It sounds like you're
different
looking
than rough
into
carpentry.
finished work,
Yeah.
which is after, the builders come in and stuff. The building still has to look pretty. When we come in, there's nothing. It's a.
So do you want to like get into more of the design side, or do you want to just like get more?
Do you
into,
want to
like,
be kind
putting in
of
the work?
Peter and
Right.
design the design?
I kind of want like to build like the inside
Yeah.
of the place and design it after. Because I'm more focused on like building the inside for
If you're more, yeah. So if you're more focused on building it, then carpentry is
Hands-on,
like
yeah.
probably the route that you want. Because interior design is a little different. Like, it's also, it was hard.
It's hard because I like both.
Yeah.
You just build your portfolio that way.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong too, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Kathleen. Kathleen does all the moving and everything, but all the furniture and stuff that actually goes into these places, that's like well thought out, and you have to go by a plan or something, and they tell
Start
you
your own
like,
business and
yeah.
bring it up.
Yeah, so that you could start that and then start your own portfolio and you're saying, this is how I did this.
Bring all the
Honestly,
trades in.
You have like, the world is your oyster. You can always start out like doing carpentry and stuff, and then you can do interior. No, do it. It's a great gig, and you can do interior designing on the side. You can actually get a certification for it, and with that building experience, which is like the best thing ever, like hands-on experience, goes. I can like speak for myself. Goes further than school ever teach you, honestly. And you can always do interior designing. Like it doesn't like
Then
stop
you start your own business and
Yeah.
you get certified. There's a WBE, which is a women business entity. It's huge.
And you
It's
know how
such
to
another
build it up.
opportunity.
I would do research on how all these different things, all these different careers interact with each other. So you have architects who design the whole building. There's even something called interior architecture, which designs inside the building and gets a little bit more into interior design. There are interior designers always on that team, making sure that they're picking out the material, like they're very familiar with materials, fabrics, woods, ceramics, all the things that you would need to decorate a building, and then how they outsource that to contractors and subcontractors to install all of that. It's really good to know how all those things go together so you can make an informed choice.
So like Ford has corporate offices across America, across the world, right? And when we close them down, a company like yours comes in and cleans it up or cleans it for us to go in, and then another company comes in and delivers the furniture. Well, like we just left it on it. I don't know what happened to the furniture. The new office has got different furniture.
But I find a home for it,
Yeah.
I do nonprofit organizations, boys clubs, I recycle, we're green, I mean, it,
Right, and we, and like,
in-depth of inside of what the process is.
and that's the whole
Crazy.
interior design part. And then somebody
Right.
else still has to come because they've changed their color palette or whatever they want, right? So then somebody else had to have designed it and then move it all in. Like, we don't bring in any of our personal stuff. There's no pictures on my desk, there's none of that. It's corporate, the designer designed it, it has a look, right? So there's all these different aspects when you're thinking of it, down from what you do, down to like the coverings, to all of it. So I'd say go to a lot of job shadows.
Yeah.
This school has the ability to quickly go spend a day in the life and start to make a list and say, this is what I want to do, and then go and figure it out.
Without us, there's no them. Without them, there's no them. So like we all interconnect with each other somehow. So you have to figure out what aspect of the trades you want to figure out where you fit in. Fit in, you know, get in where you fit in. That's what we do.
And now you have technology, so I saw a wedding plan. It didn't start off wedding planning, I was just doing my son's birthday parties and different things. You have the internet, you guys really know how to work it. Most of the time.
We know. We
Most
use
of the
Rolodex.
Most of the time when you see like interior designing or party planning or whatever, you see like they do mock-ups. It's literally before I even do a party, I'm drawing something, even if it's, I'm not a good drawer.
She's not.
You can sketch, you'll do a sketch, but now I'm learning how to actually take the picture of something and say, this is the candelabra that I want on the table, and have the whole design before I even walk in somewhere to show someone the idea. So you have that advantage too. You start your Instagram, and that's how we find people. Oh, interior design, I need an interior designer. And then they'll find your page and see all the little cool sketches you did. So you can start there too.
Okay.
This is maybe with me. With you, I'm planning on going to Wentworth through the union for telecommunications. What was like your experience like going through the union and also college, but also like what was the benefit of getting your degree and having that now?
So I actually didn't go through a union.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, so it is a little bit different, but like I applied the same way like anybody else who would apply for college. But it was like an awesome experience. And comparing myself to like my other friends that went to UMass Amherst or something, I got a job like way easier than them just because like we had that requirement where you have to do a co-op. So like that speaks for itself, like experience goes so far for you. And that's how you made your connections, and that's where the job offers came. And you do make money while you're working, and you get that full-time experience. So I got to figure out, oh, I don't like this. Oh, I want to do this instead. And that was like the best experience I could, ask for school. Yeah.
So telecommunications, you can go through 103,
Yeah.
which today is surprising we don't have a 103 electrician here. But
Oh.
I'm like, but yeah, you could go through them, and they will credit you to go to
Yeah.
to college for the
You should have them pay for it.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
yourself.
College debt is the worst. But for me going to, I have a lot of partnerships with contract, construction GCs. Seeing what's on the pipeline for 2025, 2030, of course I said to my kids, I'll probably be dead in another 30 years, but like Dorchester's gonna change. Like when I grew up in South Boston, the Seaport district was just all dirt.
Yeah.
And that's the city within the city. I've got opportunity at Suffolk Downs, that's gonna be another seaport. But seeing all this pre-planning, trades is gonna be just so demanding. I mean, construction's at a little lull right now, but we're in a tough time with the economy and the election and all this hatred and protesting happening. But what I'm seeing on all the opportunities that are down the pipeline, you guys are crazy not to really search it out, because there's just a lot. It's gonna be complete transformation. We're moving a lab move over to the Boston Globe. I mean, that whole area, UMass, Boston, and what they're doing, like, I'm looking at the plans going, oh my God, I hope I'm a Betty White and live to 90. You know what I mean? Because I want to see this. But as far as the trades and the architects and everyone, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Really. I wish I was younger. I wish I was in your shoes because I'd know what I want. I didn't know what I wanted when I was in high school. So this is great for all you guys really participating. This is our future.
Yep.
And I'm glad to be here just to really give you some information behind the scene and, you know, the stuff that we grew up, how different it was.